Hello and welcome back to my channel, Thrifty Day. My name is Leah. I'm the creator behind Thrifty Day. Today's episode is going to be really fun. I'm going to make this retro vintage style junk journal charm out of mini brands. All right, raise your hand if you are a fan of mini brands. I am a huge fan of mini brands. I love all of those little blind toy. I love it all. I mean, let's just be honest. I love it all. I have jars and jars of mini brands. I find them so fascinating. I think they are super fun. My kids and I, we all love them. And yes, you do spend quite a deal of money on them to collect them all. And then what do you do with them, right? Well, if you are a junk journal maker or you like making junk journal charms, this is your moment to shine. Or on the flip side, if you've never made a junk journal charm and you like mini brands, maybe this will introduce you into the world of junk journals. So this is my first time purchasing the retro mini brands. I know they're relatively new. I found them at Target. I am in love with these. They are all retro, like food and toys. I got the exact same Pringles can, which is okay because I could use one to make a charm out of, but I would have been disappointed otherwise. But these are super cute, you guys. I mean, they have retro cosmetics, retro like VHS, retro food, retro candy. It is really a really cute line and perfect for vintage junk journals. I got the VHS in one and the little cassette tape really comes out. I will be saving this for my retro junk journal charm for my next junk planner because, you know, those have more of an 80s feel. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I got really good at opening these though. I used my little curved tweezer and so I got pretty good at opening them by the third one. So this is my second retro mini brands, an opening. I got this cute little, I can't even tell what that is. These are so little, you guys. They're so cute, but they are perfect for charms. So run to Target. I'm obsessed. A floppy disk. I can't even. I really am loving opening these mini brands. I'm happy they're not in the wedges. I'm happy they're in these like little paper pouches. They used to be in wedges and they were kind of hard to open. So these little paper pouches are really cute. Hooray, I got the Pez. Look at how cute that is. By the way, as you are watching me open these cute little mini brands, if you are enjoying this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are new, be sure to introduce yourself so we can connect. It has been a busy, busy week. I haven't been able to get back to a lot of messages because I am planning my daughter's high school graduation party and she graduated from high school. It's been just busy, 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 but I promise I'll be back onto my regular commenting schedule very soon because my favorite part of YouTube is, of course, connecting with all of you. Okay, so while you continue to watch this, tell me what little mini brand retro is your favorite. Look, this was a little cosmetic. I think it opens. I couldn't seem to open it. And to be honest, I haven't went back to try again, but it's like a little compact, a little vintage compact. Oh my goodness, stop it. So, so, so cute. So I have a very clear winner of all of these. Oh, that's not true. There's actually 2 or 3 that I'm kind of obsessed with. Stop. This is so cute. But I would love to hear what your favorite is. And so be sure to leave that in the comment below. Look at, this is a vintage crayon tin. Are you for real? These are so cute. And look, I even got the vintage crayon box. You guys, I'm telling you, I am beside myself opening these. As somebody who not only loves miniature things, but also loves vintage things, this V8 can, you guys, I am an actual child opening these. I'm just so excited. Okay, so now that everything's open, I'm going to pick about 5. I'm going to put them on my little plate, and these are the ones I'm going to turn into charms. I wanted to grab 5 very different ones so that I could use different sort of little mini tutorials here to help show you how I turn them all into charms. Some are a little bit easier. Some are you may require some tools. Like for this first one, you'll need a mini screwdriver and a mini eye screw. I'm using gold ones. And all you do is use that mini screw to kind of start the top. And then the eye screw has like a screw on the bottom, but kind of a little circle at the top. And then you're just going to screw it right in like you would a normal screw. I use my tweezers to do it because that is very little. And you just screw it right in. And there you go. That's it. That's pretty simple if you ask me. This mini screwdriver I got years and years ago. I want to say I got it at Michael's. I don't know if they still have it, but I'm sure if you went on Amazon, you could find something very similar. Mine has many different size little screwdrivers. So I would look for that on Amazon. But yeah, it's perfect. I use it a lot for jewelry making. So I just use that same technique on both of I use the Pringle can and the V8 can, and I add that eye screw, and it's perfect. The crayons already have a little loop, so we're not going to do anything. That was easy peasy. And now for the next one, which is like a plastic little bag, I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile. I got my Crop-A-Dile at Michael's. I punch a tiny hole, and then I have a whole bunch of different eyelets. Now, it was too small for those bigger eyelets, so I had to break out the whole little container and find a tiny eyelet. So I looked through all my sizes and colors, and I found the perfect little tiny eyelet, and it fits right into that little hole that I punched with the Crop-A-Dile. And now I'm going to use the tip of the Crop-A-Dile to sort of crunch that metal down and make that eyelet secure and smashed, and now it will stay in place. And I have a perfect little secured metal ring hole that I made with the Crop-A-Dile. Now this last one is a cardboard box, so I sort of had to be a little bit creative. So what I do is I actually open that box, and I have an eye screw, and I'm going to use this E6000, and I'm going to put the eye screw right inside one of the sides of the box. I'm using E6000 because it's industrial strength and it's permanent. So once this dries, that metal won't go anywhere. If you are gluing metal, E6000 is an excellent glue. So I just sort of use my fingertips, and then eventually I'll get the tweezers, and I put that eye screw right down into the center, and then I fold the top right back on. But it's kind of hard to do with my fingers. So since this is so tiny, I did have to get out my little tweezers to make sure it was nice and flush, because I want that glue to dry as like perfect as possible so the box is in a really nice shape. I'm going to put 2 little tiny pieces of very clear transparent tape on either side of that box just to make sure it has a nice secure top, because, you know, when you have a journal charm, it kind of will get knocked around. You know, people will touch it, people will want to see, and it just makes it a tiny bit sturdier, which I like. So the tape probably isn't totally necessary, but in my brain, it does just make it a little bit more secure. And I'm not real patient. I'm not going to let that E6000 dry. You do need a couple of hours to let it completely dry to adhere. So this way I can get started making the journal charm for the tutorial. I am going to go back to Target because these are some of the cutest little charms I've ever made, and I need it. I need another one. So anyway, let's get started on the tutorial while I admire how adorable these are. You're going to need some twine or heavier thread. I get mine from Joann's or Michael's, and you're going to need 2 very long strips, or lengths rather. So I just sort of eyeball it. I like mine nice and long because I even leave the tails really long on my journal. I just think it looks pretty. So now that you see that I have 2 long lengths, I'm going to fold them over. That way I have 2 loops right on the very top. You will also need a paper clip. I'm using a 2-inch gold paper clip. I always use a gold paper clip. I think it just looks pretty. You're going to put those loops through the bottom and pull the tails out through the other end, so you have sort of a knot at the top. And you will have 4 tails of that length of twine or heavy duty thread or hemp cord, whatever you are using. And I am going to put 4 knots right at the top, very close to the paper clip, probably about 1/4 of an inch away from the paper clip. And the reason we are doing this is so that the beads we are going to put on don't slip up onto the paper clip. Now, that's not a big deal. Nothing would happen. The beads aren't going to go anywhere. I just like knowing that there's sort of a stopper there. It's more of an aesthetic thing. It's not necessarily functional. So I showed you this on a live recently. This is how I store my beads. I store my beads by color, not by size, not by shape, not by any other way. I store all of them by color in one of these plastic containers that has a whole bunch of little plastic containers in there. It's a system that's worked for me for years. I've made these journal charms for years, and I have always stored my beads in this container in this way. So this container is originally from Michael's. It's several years old. It's always stood the test of time, and like I said, I keep all of my beads in here coordinated by color. And clearly I need more green. Look at how few I have. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and pick a few colors that kind of complement the charms that I picked out. And once I have all of those on my plate, I do like to put things kind of arranged on a plate so I could see what the colors look like together, even if they're not all strung onto the journal charm yet. Once I have what I feel like are an ample amount of beads, then I get to string them. And this is a really fun journal charm that I'm making right now because there isn't really a colorway. There's no theme. It's just going to be really eclectic and fun. So when I'm choosing beads, something I like to do is make sure I have all different styles, all different colors, all different shapes. Texture is also really important to me. So some of these beads can be velvet or wooden or glass. I think the more interesting the bead sort of configuration, the better. I think it looks really beautiful on a journal. And you know me, my journals are all sort of very bright and mismatched, and that's just sort of my vibe. So if you have more of a sort of subtle, organized way of creating, then you can really play up that in your journal charm as well. This is just sort of my funky style. And so, but you could really make it your own. So I also grabbed a couple of these out of my little vintage jewelry box. There's a strawberry charm and a little vintage key and just some other fun stuff that I thought might be pretty to add onto this journal charm. So the first thing I do is trim one of those tails. I just put it at, kind of cut it at a diagonal. That way the beads are a little bit easier to string on. I string on my first bead and I put a knot, and then I move on to the next beads. The most amount of beads that I put together would maybe be 3. I don't like to add too many before I add another knot because the knot keeps them sort of separated, so it looks a little bit more interesting. I also strung that V8 can on there, and I just stick the twine right through the eye hook, and I tie it in a knot and move on to the next bead. So this process is really fun. It's very simple, and there's not really a lot to teach because it's really just what you find pleasing, what you find interesting for your journal charm. So I'm just sort of stringing beads on in a way that I think is fun and creative. I do like to make sure that each one of these 4 tails, when the beads sort of reach the end, are at different lengths. I think it's interesting, more interesting when it's hanging on the edge of a journal. So you don't want to go too long with the beads, and I actually end up removing a couple from that first one. I feel like it's a little bit too long, but just make sure that they're varied in length. You don't want everything at the exact same length. I think varying sizes just keeps it a little more interesting. I get a lot of my beads locally, just here at Michael's and Joann's. Another place I'm very lucky to live close to is the Fashion District in LA. I do get a lot of beads there. Some are also vintage, but another one of my favorite places to source beads is the thrift store. Now, I don't just find bags of beads usually, but I buy old jewelry, and that has been a really fun way to get charms, and you can take them apart and get, sort of secondhand, very eclectic pieces to use on your journal charms. So that's another really fun place. But let me know where you like getting your beads, where you've had luck finding really fun, funky pieces to use on journal charms. I would love to hear. In fact, I actually have a video that I sort of forgot to finish making, and it's only occurring to me now as I am doing the voiceover for this journal charm. I actually bought one of those huge vases filled with junk jewelry from the thrift store, and I love it. To be honest, there wasn't a lot of junk. It was actually a lot of really great, interesting pieces of jewelry. And so I need to break out those pieces and start taking them apart and creating a journal charm out of that, because some of those were really beautiful. So I highly recommend the thrift store. So I am about done with this journal charm. I am absolutely loving the way it came out. For me, these are really fun to make, and quite honestly, I love the sound, and I love having journal charms on my journals. It's just something I truly, truly enjoy. I've said it before, especially when I do flip throughs. To me, my journal charms also tend to tell a story. And it's not always that they're super important stories. Like, this was just really fun. I saw these retro mini brands at Target, and I was really excited to open them. And when I got home, My oldest daughter, Lizzie, who also loves mini brands, was so excited. Like we opened them up together on camera, and it was just really fun. It's just fun. And so turning them into charms was something that, while it may not be a huge important thing in the real world, it was just a reason to have fun. And I think sometimes we just need to do that. We just need to take a break and have fun. Also, if you were interested in purchasing this journal charm or others, I do have a drop coming to my Etsy shop that will be on this Thursday. All of that information will be linked in the description box down below. I do give my Patreon members extra time to shop. So if you were interested in being a part of that community that gets a little bit of an extra notice, feel free to join my Patreon. That information is also linked in the description box down below. We'd love to have you there. I do go live 3 times a week. I have digitals that you have access to. I have a Facebook group that we have a pen pal program that is run by my dear friend Shara. Thank you so much, Shara. There's just so many opportunities to connect and build community. So if you were interested in being a part of that, be sure to check that out. This next drop, I will have retro journal charms. I will have this vintage junk journal charm, maybe a couple others. I'll also have planner covers. I'll have a new storybook, fable, and fairy tale postcard and sticker pack available. There will also be surprise retro journal charm mini buckets. Just lots of really fun things. I decided to add a little gold ring to the little Smarties charm. That way it will hang a little bit more flat and hopefully be a little bit more secure. So I'm just putting that little gold ring on there, and now I will tie the little cord right through that ring and tie a knot, and that way it'll dangle just a little bit nicer. And this charm is done. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. The last step that I take once all of my charms and beads are on my journal charm and I'm happy with the way it looks, I'm happy with the lengths, I'm happy with it completely, is I go through and I tie a double knot at the end of every length. So I'm looking at the charm, I'm very happy, I see how it all looks. So now I'm going to go down to the bottom of those lengths of the cord and tie an additional knot to each one, just for a little bit, peace of mind, to make sure that those beads don't fall off the bottom. And that is it. It's very simple. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've made journal charms in the past. I do enjoy removable journal charms because I just find it a little bit easier for my process when I'm using my creative junk journal. But I'm really happy with this, so I'd love to hear what you think. I just wanted to give you a peek of what it looks like on a journal. I think it looks really sweet. This is my current personal journal and I'm loving working in it, but I just think that looks adorable. Well, friends, we have reached the end of another video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that like button. That helps my channel so much, and truly I appreciate each and every like, each and every comment. If you subscribe, I am super grateful. So I just wanted to say thank you. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Your presence here does not go unnoticed. So have a really great day, and thanks for watching.